Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to a new webinar of Rapidi about data integration. Today, we will be exploring the world of maximizing business synergy and the powerful integration between Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365. So let me present myself. I'm Serene, the sales consultant here at Rapidi, and I'm happy to be your host for today. So here with me, my esteemed colleague, Andrea. Andrea is a data integration consultant, and she will explain a lot of things in detail later. So let's start with today's agenda. So first of all, we will have an introduction to Rapidi so that you know who we are and what we do. Then Andrea will tell you about the importance of integration, about Rapidi integration solutions, and I will explain some of our customer testimonials, and I will tell you how you can get started with us, whether you're interested as a customer or as a partner. In the end, we have a Q&A session, so feel free to write all of your questions and doubts in the chat. You can start writing now if you want, and we will go through them one by one, and of course, give you the answers to everything. So let's start with the first section about Rapidi. So Rapidi has over 30 years of data integration expertise. Our journey started back then when Microsoft was still called Navision, and our founder and CEO, Michael Bach, was part of that group. And Michael is still playing an important role at Rapidi today. So this is speaking a lot about our experience in the Dynamics side. So at Rapidi, we specialize for two of the major players in the tech world, which are Salesforce and Microsoft. But we can still integrate any variety of solutions to meet your unique business needs. We have customers and as a worldwide coverage around the world through different industries. And we are offering a flexible, simple, and robust complete solution as we are using the cutting-edge cloud technology, which requires no programming at all and makes it very easy for everyone. We are extremely proud for having the 5 stars in the App Exchange rating because our customers are extremely happy about our solution and support. So at Rapidi, we go in the extra mile for our customers, meaning that from the beginning, when you contact us, we will help you for anything you need. If you have any doubts about the systems that you would like to implement or any other doubt, we will be there standing by you. And of course, we are offering you our outstanding support, even post-go live, to make sure you're never alone. And this is also one of the reasons that why we have an amazing customer references with our customers around the world, as I mentioned before. And especially that we are always flexible to meet your needs. I think that's all. It's time to hand over to Andrea. Andrea, over to you.
Perfect, thank you. So let's move on to the next section. So here we will cover the importance of integration. And from our point of view, we think that the process itself should be simple and it should not give you any type of challenges or headaches along the way. Now, speaking of integrations in general, why do we need to do that? So first of all, here you have 4 buckets. First is collaboration. So you want to integrate systems because you want to activate all your data. And when you do that, you have a full customer overview, and then you enable teams to collaborate better. The second one, which is extremely important, is efficiency. Of course, you want to be efficient at all times. So when you integrate your systems, you will not have double data entries. You will not switch between systems. So then you end up eliminating rework. And then in the end, you have a full process automation. Then the third one is quality. Of course, as soon as you have data in your systems and the data is correct, you can say that everything is consistent. You can say that you have data that you can trust. And by having that, you can build better reports and you have increased user adoption. And then the last bucket would be about growth. Of course, as soon as you have the first 3, you can say that you'll have better decision support, then you have increased customer satisfaction, and in the end, you will be able to sell more and faster. So of course, An integration is important because it will streamline your processes. So, and then second, you do get to have the real-time data synchronization. So systems talk to each other and data is being transferred in real time. And then it improves decision making. Of course, you have teams focusing on more important things, so they are more productive. And last but not least, you reduce or eliminate data silos, any kind of manual processes, and communication gaps between the teams. The point is that you want to integrate to elevate. You want to make sure that your systems talk to each other, and then you will be definitely you will be successful as a company, and you will be able to use all your data correctly. The next part is about Rapidi data integration solutions. As I mentioned before, we do think that an integration should be straightforward and easy. We don't want to overcomplicate things. We don't want to give you any type of additional challenges or any bumps on the road. And speaking of that, Rapidi is an innovative IpaaS. So we focus on simplicity. We think that we should keep everything simple. And when we say simplicity, we refer to design, installation, and use. Rapidi is a cloud integration system that offers pre-configured templates. So these templates allow you to integrate various systems. So you can speed up the process just by using them. And of course, we do have quite a lot of experience when it comes to integrating the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs and other CRMs or any other systems that companies are using right now. And speaking of systems and the ones that we work with, here you'll see a list of the most common endpoints. Of course, you'll see this ones here because we do see a demand for it. It means that companies want to integrate these systems and they want to make sure that everything runs correctly. As you can see here, we do have all the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs. We have the Microsoft Dynamics CRM, HubSpot, Shopify. We can also work with Oracle databases, SQL, BigQuery, or any other systems that you might use. If your system is not here on the list, you can definitely reach out and ask us about it, and then we can definitely guide you through the process. Now, speaking of Salesforce and the Microsoft Dynamics ERP's integrations, we do want to mention that Rapidi is an IpaaS with no staging of your data. So you can easily set it up. You don't need to be a developer, and you can connect multiple systems and companies. So if you have, let's say, 10 legal companies or entities, you can definitely use Rapidi for that. And then you can use Rapidi to transfer any type of data. It can be standard, custom, it can be a hybrid. So you can definitely do that without any issues. And last but not least, the all-inclusive subscriptions and services that Rapidi offers. We will cover this part later on. Now, when we talk about Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics ERP's integrations, we do want to discuss a bit about the data flows and the mapping templates that we usually provide. As you see here on the list, these are the most common scenarios that we see. And of course, they are part of a more of a standard process, so to speak. So usually when customers are using Salesforce as the CRM and then one of the Microsoft Dynamics ERPs, they will want to transfer this type of data. So in this case, we have accounts and customers. So this type of information can be transferred both ways so that you have customers up to date in both systems. Then we have contacts. The same thing happens with contacts. So if you want to have everything up to date in Salesforce and in your ERP, you can use Rapidi and that will happen without any issues. Then we have items and their prices. So in your ERP, you'll have your full list of items and their prices. So then you also want to see this information in your CRM. By using Rapidi and by implementing the mapping templates, you can definitely have the same information sent over to Salesforce and see it at all times. And then we have opportunities. So in Salesforce, you usually have opportunities, and as soon as they are closed won, then you want to create a new sales order in your ERP. So you can use the mapping template that you have, and then you have a new order created with all the information that you need. And the last three, we have the orders, we have the ledger entries, invoices, and credit memos. You can always send all these transactions to Salesforce if you want to have a full overview of how everything is going. And as soon as, let's say, the orders or the invoices or the credit memos are sent to Salesforce, you will be able to see those associated with that particular customer. So you also get to see what's the current situation of every customer and which is the total number of transactions that they currently have listed there. Now, we have talked about the mapping template and everything, but of course, we also want to see how this looks like in Salesforce. So I'll share my screen and show you that. So this is one example. We have this customer that also exists in my ERP, so to speak. So I wanted to send it over to Salesforce. And then together with that, some of the sales orders and invoices and payments that are associated with this particular customer. Now, if we look at the first section here, you'll see the customer information. So you can transfer any information. It can be related to the billing address, shipping address, any contact information. You can add the customer type, industry, or even the ERP customer number that's associated with this particular account here. Of course, then, we also wanted to see everything that is related to this customer. So we wanted to see all the sales orders and the payments and the invoices and the credit memos. So as you can see here, this is a full list of the orders that exist in the ERP as well. And the same happens for the following ones. For example, we have this sales order. And if we open it, we will see the details here. So you can see the customer information, everything that has to do with shipping, billing. And then the second piece here would be the sales order lines. So you can see the products which are associated with this particular sales order. So it gives you a good insight into the sales order and everything that you already have in your ERP. Now, if we go back, the same thing you will see for ledger entries and sales history. For ledger entries, for example, you can look at a payment, so you can see the information that is related to this payment in particular. Of course, if you have a more of a custom process and you are using custom fields, you can definitely include those here and see that information available. And then, of course, if we go to the sales history, this is a place where you would see invoices and credit memos, so everything that has been posted for this particular customer. So if we open this one, again, you'll see the invoice detail, the customer, billing, shipping. You have the total amount, the amount including VAT, and of course then the invoice lines, so the products which are being associated with this particular invoice. So every time a new invoice is being posted, it will be sent here and associated with this particular customer. So everything will be updated and you will be able to see the current situation of this customer. What you see here, this related lists, the sales orders, the ledger entries, and then the sales history. They are custom objects which have been actually created by us, and they can be imported into your Salesforce org via a package. So it's very easy to do so. You just import them and then you'll have them available with all the fields that you see here. So it's a very straightforward process if you want to use this type of setup. Now, let's go back to our presentation. So we went through the standard process, and of course, that process aligns with the quote to cash example that we have here. So in this case, we have the lead in Salesforce, and then the next in line, so to speak, would be the account and the contact. And as soon as you have that in Salesforce, you do want to send this over to your ERP. So you can do that by using either the mapping template or simply having a separate setup. So then you have this information up to date in both systems. And then you have the opportunity. So we have the opportunity, and as soon as you close it and you want it, then you can send that over to your ERP and have a new sales order created. So it's very easy and straightforward if you want to send this over to your ERP. And as soon as you have the order in your ERP, you can also send it back to Salesforce if you want to see a full list of orders which are linked to that customer. So you can do it both ways and also send updates if necessary. And then we have the invoices, we have the credit memos, and the payments. You can send everything to Salesforce as you've seen previously and have a full list of all of them under the customer that is associated with all these transactions. And separate from that, we have products, which in your ERP would be items, and the prices, which in Salesforce would be price books. But again, this is a standard process. If you have something different, you can definitely still use Rapidi and adjust the mapping templates or create your own data flows for those. So you have the flexibility that you need in order to build your own integration. Now we'll cover a few things. So here we have the key functionalities. First of all, we have data mapping and transformation. We have real-time synchronization. We have customization and scalability, automated workflow, security measures, and monitoring and analytics. So let's look at the first one. So mapping and transformation. As I mentioned before, we have the pre-built mapping templates that you can use so that you don't spend time on mapping. So then you focus on testing and then moving to production. So the point is that via Rapidi, you can map and transform your data without any major effort. And we do provide support for custom data fields. So if you have custom fields, custom objects, or a combination, you can definitely use Rapidi for that because you have that flexibility. And of course, we provide an intuitive data mapping interface, and it will allow you to customize your setup at any point in time. So if you decide to set up everything in a certain way now, and then let's say 6 months later, things have changed on your end, you can go ahead and customize it, and you can make sure that everything will meet your business requirements. The next one is about synchronization. So this is really important because we do have data in one system that needs to go into the other system. So we want to make sure that everything is up to date. So when you use Rapidi, you can definitely have this in place. You can make sure that everything is up to date, and then you get immediate updates on opportunities, customers, on sales orders, or any type of records that you are using. So then the sales teams will be able to see everything really fast and will be able to make a decision without any issues. And of course, by having this real-time synchronization, by having data being transferred constantly to the other system, you minimize data latency and you have an improved decision-making overall. The next one would be customization and scalability. So as I mentioned, we do have the mapping templates, but they are not fixed. They are not supposed to be used just the way they are. You do have the flexibility to customize them, adjust them, and add more to them. So you can use them as a starting point, and then if you decide that you need to add more to them, you can definitely do that. And the idea is that we can adapt to any business processes and structures, and we can ensure scalability. It doesn't matter if you're a very small company or if you're a large enterprise, we can ensure full scalability, and we can provide you the customization that you need if you have a very customized process or if you have something that's very special in that regard. And of course, automated workflows. So via the Rapidi's automated workflows, you can streamline your processes. And of course, the repetitive tasks will be automated. Then the teams will not spend time on all these manual tasks. You will be able to reduce the manual effort and minimize errors. And the last one is the flexibility to customize your data flows. You can do that at any point in time, and you can ensure that they meet your specific business requirements. Then security measures. So we are committed to data security and compliance, and we do want to make sure that our customers feel safe and confident about the way we handle their data. And our commitment is shown via encryption protocols, access controls, and other security features. And last but not least, we have monitoring and analytics. We do provide monitoring and analytics tools to all customers, because we want to provide them with the opportunity to track the integration performance. So all companies can get a full insight into the data flows, how everything is running, if there are any issues performance-wise, if there are any bottlenecks, and be able to optimize those accordingly. So you do have a good insight just by looking at your statistics, and then this will give you the possibility to optimize any process on your side or the integration itself. The next part is about the Rapidi functionality. So we have selected a few that we want to go through. So here we have the data flow actions. So when you want to transfer data from one system to another, so let's say you have customers in your ERP and you want to transfer them into your CRM, then you have to decide what you want to do. So if you want to create all those customers into your CRM, you will use an add function, so to speak. And then if you want to also update them, you can use an update function. If you want to use both, then you can use them together. So this is a way to tell the system what to do. So, and then you can have this type of action both ways. So if you want to send updates from your ERP to Salesforce and back, you can definitely do that via the integration. And in this way, all customers will be up to date in both systems. Then we have link storages. So link storages are dynamic lookup tables, more or less, and they can store your company data. And this is something really useful for a lot of customers because they do want to see those record IDs that belong to, let's say, to their customers or maybe to their invoices or orders. So when we say dynamic lookup table, it means that the list that you see here on the screen will be updated at the runtime. So when the data flow or the transfer is running and a new customer is created or updated, this list will also be updated. So it means that you will be able to see the one-to-one relationship for that particular record. So it's really, it's a really great functionality, and it gives you a clear list of all your records and which ones are in your ERP, which ones are in your CRM. So you definitely can use this information on other transfer setup or just for you, so you can validate everything that you have in your systems. And then the third one is about tags. So tags are parameters or variables that you can set up at the connection or data flow level. So when we say tags, well, this means that you will create actually this unique parameter for each of the companies that you want to integrate. So if you have multiple legal entities that you want to integrate, then you will set up a tag. It has to be unique, of course. And then as soon as the data is transferred from your ERP to Salesforce, then everything will run through those tags. So tags are a way to be more efficient and group everything together and making sure that you have one master data flow through which all the data will flow into Salesforce. So imagine that instead of setting up a data flow or transfer for each of your legal entities, then you just have one, which would be the master, and then that will be used for all your legal entities. So it's definitely faster and easier, right, to do that instead of doing all that extra work. But of course, tags can be used for many other things. You just have to be creative, but I think this is the most common scenario that we have seen so far. And now to summarize, Rapidi offers Microsoft ERPs and Salesforce integrations, but we also work with other type of integrations. And here I'm referring to different combinations of systems. So for example, we can have Business Central in Microsoft Sales, we can have Business Central in HubSpot, or between the Microsoft products directly. We can say ERP to ERP or any other combination. It's a cost-effective and scalable business model. And when you integrate via Rapidi, you can do it for both cloud and on-premise. So cloud is easy, we all know that. And then on-premise systems sometimes can be difficult to connect to them, but we do have a lot of experience in that regard. So we can definitely integrate any on-premise system. And then we provide robust development tools. Then the mapping templates, what I mentioned before, they are really useful and they will definitely save a lot of time. And Rapidi is approachable for non-IT users. So you don't need to be an expert or a technical person to handle everything. And a very important aspect is that you can manage everything post go live without specialized resources. So you will do great without any specialized teams maintaining it. And I think that's it. Back to you, Serene.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Okay, so now I would like to explain why Rapidi customers consider it as an all-inclusive investment model. So the reason is because it's a one-time implementation fee and a yearly subscription, including the post-go-live support. So no maintenance cost or any other hidden costs that will come after. So as a Rapidi customer, you will get access to the integration platform, the integration templates, and the support. So let's dig a little bit into it and explain what you will get. So first point in the integration platform, it comes with the integration configuration, advanced data toolbox. You have access to log and notifications, monitoring, and the Rapidi connector. When it comes to the integration templates, they are complete business processes. They are already pre-configured, coming with the best practices, and totally customizable, and of course comes with detailed documentation. When it comes to the support, it will help you maintain the integration, add fields to existing transfers, take care of the integration advisory, resolve data errors, and as I mentioned before, you have the support included in the subscription post-go live. And now I will move to the next section, which is the customer testimonial. So as I mentioned before, we are always extremely proud of our happy customers. And of course, we are also proud of maintaining the five-star rating and the Salesforce App Exchange, and also the 5 stars and as an average support rating through the past 5 years. And this speaks a lot about the solution and the amazing support that we are offering to our customers through different industries and in different places of the world. And today I would like to talk about a case story of one of our customers who is extremely happy about Rapidi, because Rapidi was a game changer for them, because it's reliable, flexible, and changed their lives, especially IT team. So today we'll talk about Educate 360. So first of all, I will tell you a little bit about Educate, who they are, so that you know what the company does. So Educate 360 offer integrated learning and development solutions in management and leadership, data science, and IT. They are a trusted industry leader with a long history, including the acquisition of several brands. And they have a mission. So their mission is to empower individuals and organizations with skills for success in technology-driven, innovative economy. So they are providing flexible training programs for all levels, and they specialize in certification preparation, business analysis, and skill-based training with the goal to enhance organizational efficiency, alignment, and business outcomes. So let's see which challenges they had before starting the work with Rapidi. So the first point was the acquisition and system disparity. So as they acquired several brands, and these brands operated on different customer management system, including a homegrown system, this was a challenge. Then they had another challenge, which is the integration issues with Microsoft Business Central. So the accounting department used Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central, and of course, this needed an integration. And the custom-built APIs for integration with Microsoft Business Central also posed some significant challenges. Then they also had a need for improved integration solution, as the existing solution that they had before Rapidi failed to meet the needs due to the high customized setup and high transaction volume. There was also a need to explore alternative integration service platforms to find a viable solution. And they also needed a Microsoft Dynamic 365 sales integration, as this company acquired another company that uses Microsoft Dynamic 365 sales as their CRM. And now let's talk about the achievements. So first point is the transformation of operational processes, the customization aided by Rapidi's expert team. We improved data flow and we automated the processes. There is a reduction in manual workload and enhanced operational efficiency. Now they have real-time synchronization, which ensured consistent and up-to-date data. Also, there is a scalable solution for adding new brands and services, facilitating the growth. They have a better handling of orders, customer information, and product data. Seamless incorporation of new brands and offering facilitating expansion. Flexibility for adapting to business change and integrating new processes. And also the automation minimized reliance on manual intervention, which helps to reduce errors also. Real-time data access supported improved decision-making. And finally, laid groundwork for integration of additional systems like Dynamics 365 Sales and HubSpot without complex programming. So I'd like to close the case story with a quote from Kevin, who's the director of information technology in the IT. And he says that he highly recommends Rapidi to anyone facing integration challenges, as its performance, reliability, and support have been outstanding. So they don't see us only as a tool, but also as a partner in their growth. And this is how we would like to see ourselves also. And now I would like to explain how you can get started with us. So it's really easy. All you need to do is access our website and go to the contact form, fill in your contact information and few lines about your request, whether you're interested for an integration project, or whether also if you're also interested as a partner because you have customers with this need. And make sure that we are always very fast answering. We will set up a meeting and happily discuss with you about the project and see how we can work together. And when it comes about working together, these are the steps that we take as an implementation process to make sure everything goes really smooth. So normally we start with a discovery, which is the integration project scope validation and project kickoff. When it's done, we would move to the onboarding, which is basically onboarding our customer into the Rapidi platform and into Basecamp, which is the online collaboration platform that we normally use. Then when it's done, we would move to the configuration, which is the integration configuration on the Rapidi platform and end user testing. Then we would move to deploy to production, which is the initial data synchronization and upload of historical data and the actual cutover to the production environment. And final step would be the transition to support, which is the post-go-live support, project closure, and transition to the operational support. And as I mentioned before, we stand by you in all the steps, and you can have our team with you even post-go-live, which is really important. Now, Andrea, it's time for the questions. I have seen a question before in the chat, so maybe we'll start by it. So Kailash is asking about what about lead and custom object. I think you went through some of these in the last slides, but maybe you can have something to add.
Yeah, so we covered the mapping templates part, where we said that those apply to standard scenarios, right? What we've seen there. But then if you want to transfer leads, if you have custom objects, you can still use Rapidi and you can have the transfer set up for the specific purpose. Or you can look at the mapping templates and see if you can adjust them. So then you can apply the same setup on your custom objects. So either way, either you follow that route of the mapping templates and adjust them and modify them, or if you think that you have something completely different, then you can set up a data flow with everything that you need to transfer. So we can set up a transfer for any object as long as we have access to it. So as long as the connection, the Salesforce connection or the ERP connection provides access to them, then there's really no limitation in terms of what you can do on that integration.
Okay, Kailash, I hope this answered your question. If it's not clear enough, please write again, and and we will go through it. Okay, we have another question from Matt. So asking, is there any software installed on premise, or is the product all cloud-based?
So if you refer to Rapidi, that would be cloud. But then if you're referring to the system that you want to integrate, you can have cloud and on-premise. So there are systems that are just on-premise, so we can connect to them because we have our own connector that will be installed, and we connect to that system via the connector, or just cloud. Cloud is straightforward, it's easy. But yeah, I think we support both options in that case, and yeah, it's very straightforward, I would say.
Okay, so I will go through some questions that we prepared, and if you have any other questions for the people who are attending, please feel free to write. We always give priority to your questions. Okay, so Andrea, when shall we start our integration when considering to upgrade from NAV to BC?
Yeah, so the integration can be started as soon as possible, so to speak. So if you have an ongoing integration between, let's say, Navision and Salesforce, and then you decide to upgrade to Business Central because, of course, you want more functionalities, then you can have them both running at the same time until you are ready to switch to Business Central. So what we usually do, we do get this request quite a lot from our customers that were using Navision, and then they wanted to move to BC. So we would have a parallel setup for them so that we can actually repurpose the current integration, make sure it adapts to Business Central, run tests, and then as soon as everything is okay, they would switch off Navision and the connection they have, and then move to Business Central. For this to happen, of course, you will need to reach out to our sales team about your specific request and requirements, and then we can estimate the number of hours and what is required in order to do that. So you do have to follow that process, and as soon as that's completed, then you'll have one of the consultants working with you to make sure that the migration and everything works great. And then you will be able to have Business Central and Salesforce or any other CRM running correctly.
Okay. What would the process be if I decide to change my CRM?
So for example, if you already have an integration between your ERP and let's say Salesforce, and then you decide to move to the Microsoft Sales CRM, then you would definitely reach out to the sales team about that, saying, okay, explaining what you want to do, what's your plan, and when are you going to have your new CRM ready, right? And then based on the time required on our side to help with that, we will provide you with estimate. But technically here, you would be able to connect to the new CRM, so have a test environment, so that can be done in parallel. So you have the current CRM running without issues, and then you work on the new CRM, the connection, allowing data to flow and run tests. And as soon as the new CRM and your ERP, they are synchronized and everything is running correctly, then you can definitely move away from the current CRM and start using your own and allow data to go into the system.
Okay. So another question, how to set up your data integration project in 3 steps?
So first of all, you have to think about your scope. Make sure you define it. For example, you can say, okay, I want the purpose of the integration to be customer updates, sales orders, or any other type of transaction. So it has to be clear what you want to do. So as soon as it's clear how you want to send the information, and if it only goes one way, or if it goes both ways, this type of information, then the next step would be connecting to your systems. So here's a place where we have to connect to your ERP, your CRM, or the system that you're using, and we have to make sure that we have the right permissions in place and that we can access your objects. And that's why I was mentioning that we don't have any limitations in terms of what kind of object you're using. We just need to make sure that we have access to it. If you provide us with the right permissions, then we will access all the objects that you need. So then the connection will be successful. When it comes to connections in general, then we do have documentation. So we have steps explained. So there are systems to which you connect really fast, such as Salesforce or HubSpot, but then there are other systems where you need a bit of time to connect to them because they are a bit different. But either way, the connection can be set up right away. So step number 2, as I said, connections, and then allow the systems to talk to each other and start testing your data flows. If you are using the mapping templates, then you can definitely go ahead and start testing. If not, build something from scratch.
Okay, how do we deal with the integration if we have plans to roll it out to other countries?
Yeah, so if you already have one integration ongoing and it's live, let's say for a specific country, you can roll it out for other countries. Again, the process would be reach out to us so we understand what's the rollout plan, which are the countries in scope and the number of all those companies. And then you'll get an estimate from our side regarding the hours that we need to spend on setting that up. And you'll have a consultant assigned that will work with you to make sure that the current integration is extended for the other countries as well.
Okay. Why should we choose Rapidi integration platform instead of building integration by ourselves?
So if we want to be efficient, if we want to save time, money, and a lot of other things, then we would use Rapidi as an integration platform. But of course, if you want to have, let's say, an internal project, if you have all the resources that you need, and there's no rush in having this done, then you can build it yourself. Again, this is something more of a personal choice, but I think companies nowadays, they don't really have that much time to spend on this type of activities. And of course, financially, it's a lot because you need so many resources and so many people that would build that. So yeah, from my point of view, choose Rapidi. So then has proven to work. Your integration will be up and running in no time instead of going through all this process.
Yeah. Okay. How to ensure the best data mapping?
Yeah, so here I think it's important to know very well your data and how everything is structured. And also you have to know if you have restrictions, if you have pick lists, if you have anything special in any of the systems. And if you have that in one of the systems, make sure that it's aligned with the other one, which can be the CRM or the ERP. If they are not aligned in that regard, how the data is structured and what kind of rules you have there, then you will run into issues when you try to transfer data, because the data itself will not match, and then you'll get errors. So I think you have to make sure your systems are aligned. And then as soon as you have that, you can definitely start mapping and you will be able to see the correct data.
Okay. Why should we choose Rapid integration platform instead of using other standard integration tools?
Okay, so here the first reason would be transparency. So when you sign up and you want to work with Rapidi, then you get everything from the very beginning, in the sense that you know what's included, you know what will happen, you know the process, and then also you know the the total amount that would be paid for everything. So you'll not have any surprises 6 months later. Regarding other integration tools, you might, of course, you do sign up for, let's say, a different platform, but then you might have additional costs because, let's say, you decide to go into a custom integration, so you need custom objects, custom fields, so those are extra. So they're not by default included, for example, in a contract. So that's one. And then second, the mapping templates that we have, the ones that I talked about, so those can be adjusted. So you use them. They are called standard templates because they refer to standard scenarios, but they can be adjusted. They can be extended. You can add custom fields to them if you want to. So there is really no limitation there. Whereas the other standard integration tools will provide you the templates, but you have to use them as they are. So if the template itself contains a list of, I don't know, 20 mappings, then that's what you need to use. You cannot add custom fields, for example. As soon as you need to add a custom field or a formula or an expression, you do need to go on a different route and have a custom integration instead, which has to be paid completely separate. So that's another reason. And then another one would be support. So on our end, you get support post go live. So you get specialized support from the team in case you run into any issues. And when it comes to the other platforms, support might not be included. And usually, if it's included, you get the first level of support. You do not get the specialized one. So I think it's important to understand that support plays a major role post go live, and it's really important to have specialized teams to reach out to in case you have issues. So those people can give you recommendations or can explain what happened. Yeah.
Okay. Why it's best to be prepared when handling errors?
Yeah, so I think it's good to get ready from the very beginning in the early stages of the project, because then you will be fully independent as soon as you go into production. So as soon as you go into production and, for example, you'll see an error message, you will not be surprised or shocked that you see it. You'll be able to understand what the reason is and how to deal with that. And of course, it's important to start early because most of the errors are data related errors. So they are related to your data, either from your ERP or from your CRM. So either way, the customer would have to go into the system, fix the data, and then send it back again. So again, it's good to be prepared from the very beginning so you get used to any type of error message, and then you can easily maintain it in production.
Okay, so which system does Rapidi support?
So we covered this a bit, and we talked about the most common endpoints, but of course, those were listed there because we do see a high demand for them. But it doesn't mean that that's all. Those are all the systems that we work with. We can definitely work with new systems or any other platforms that you're working with. And if we get this type of request, it would be good to understand the requirements, how it's being used, and what's the purpose of the integration, so that we can provide recommendation and explain how we would do it on our end. So I think the idea is that we are flexible in that regard, and we do get requests from customers about new systems, ERP, CRMs, platforms, and we have to evaluate them and make sure that there is a demand for them in order to actually have the integration built for that.
Mhm. Okay, one more. Do you support custom objects?
Yeah, so we definitely do that. As I mentioned, there's really, I mean, the only thing that matters is to be able to have access to your standard and custom objects. And that has to do with permissions and how we connect to your systems. And then from that point on, you can use as many custom objects as you want. If you have 100, then you can use them. And then the same thing applies to custom fields if you prefer that way. So you can have standard, custom, or just a hybrid. It's up to you. So for us, it's all good.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Andrea, for explaining everything in detail. And now it's time to wrap up today's webinar. We'd like to thank you for watching. We invite you to visit our website so that you can check more solution overviews, more case stories, fact sheets, detailed documentation. If you have any questions or doubts, you can contact us via the contact form. And as I mentioned before, we're very fast in getting back to you. Stay tuned for the future webinars and save the dates. February 20, we will have a webinar about HubSpot and MS Dynamics 365 integration. We will have another webinar in March 19 about Salesforce and MS Dynamics 365 finance integration. And in April 23, we have a webinar about Salesforce to Salesforce integration. So as you can see, we have a variety of topics, and we are happy to hear about your feedback. If you have any suggestion about the next webinars, any other topics, any other ideas, we will be happy to hear about it and take it into consideration. So shortly after the webinar, you will receive an email with the slides that we shared. You will get a link to give us the feedback. You also have a link here in the chat for people who stay connected. So as I mentioned, we will be really grateful to have your feedback so that we know how we can involve and improve. So thank you once again for watching, and we hope to see you soon. Goodbye.